Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence. Good morning, Spence. Good
You're
morning.
muted.
Hey,
Spence,
the
you're
guy.
muted.
Hey, Gal. Good morning.
Good
Oh,
morning.
I am muted. I'm sorry.
And Spence is here,
I was
and
chewing.
Nick is here.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So, yeah, we were having a lot of Zoom problems this morning, and there's a lot of articles on the internet circulating last week about how bad Zoom is. I don't know.
Well, what was the security issue?
That
There were
there,
a couple.
People hacking in, right?
the security issue was that the password was not set to be with a password by default. So
Oh,
if
So
They
people
weren't
would
hacking. They were
enter.
just
Yeah.
guessing the meeting ID.
guessing the meeting ID, there's a lot of things that you can listen to recordings if they are recorded to the cloud because of Zoom's naming convention. You can go and search for it, and it's available.
If if there's no password,
If there's no
or
password,
if the password is easy to get.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so they did an update, and wow, yeah, they changed to be the default. I mean, it's people that don't have good passwords just don't have good passwords. Doesn't matter if it's Zoom or it's their email or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a business application, right?
Right.
That suddenly got exposed to the entire world and practically to assholes. And right. And now they do have right? They do have a privacy issue with their Mac and iOS based application. I don't know if they fixed that yet. The one where everything is sent to all of the metadata is sent to Facebook because they have the login with Facebook stuff. And I don't know if they solved that yet, but that's the only issue, the real issue that has to do with Zoom and not with people misusing Zoom or um, trying to hack into Zoom sessions.
Uh-huh.
Oh, what happened?
they heard you. They heard you
Happened
talking
there?
about them.
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
her your audio,
The connector.
your connection
Let's
is
see.
your connection is
So,
really
They-
bad.
They throttled them.
yeah, it's a keyboard. No, it should be back in a second. So yeah,
There you go.
okay. Yeah, I have a hub, a USB hub in the keyboard, and I connected the camera there, and just moved the keyboard for a second. Moved it to another connector.
Oh.
So it's all about that, and it's about Zoom being suddenly so popular and their stock prices skyrocketing
Yep.
that everybody needs to tone down tame the animal.
The thing is, it is exactly we were talking about it, Nick and I. It's exactly like the computers in the world. I mean, all these years, Windows always had problems. People always found problems in it. And the Mac, oh, don't worry about it. There's nothing in it. Everything is fine because there weren't that many of them. Now
It wasn't a
suddenly
target. Yeah.
they are gaining uh, share, and people are beginning to look into okay, where are the vulnerabilities? Same thing with Zoom.
Yeah. Not only that, it's suddenly people are really interested in putting Mac inside an enterprise environment.
Yep.
Right? Like managed properly in an enterprise environment. And suddenly people are discovering this is a piece of crap, right? The same thing they said about Windows
Windows.
compared to the Unix world when enterprise was Unix or VNX or something like that, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's
But there's a lot of misinformation going around about Zoom
yes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, that's what we're saying.
because
Besides the fact that it's owned by the Chinese government and military, and it has all
well,
this spyware built in.
no, it's not that they are owned by the Chinese and all this. It's because Zoom has about 700 employees in China. And if you want to operate in China, you have to, the way that they put it, bow your hand to the government and to anything else because they want to know everything.
Right, but Google is the same thing, no?
Yeah,
and so is Apple.
yeah,
Apple's the exact
exactly.
same thing.
Every company.
I mean, Apple is more. The manufacturing is done in
Yeah,
China.
I mean,
So,
that's not the point. I mean, more or less, it's any company that operates there has to give information, whatever they are asked for, to the government. I mean, you want to be completely private, don't operate in China. That's it.
and that's
That's
losing a
right.
third of the human population. So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
That's the
Well,
Yeah.
but there's people are saying, oh, all their servers are in China. That's not true.
nah.
They've
Nah.
got that's not true.
I mean,
That's-
they
There was
It's
an
completely
article I was
false.
reading about that many their security certificates are generated in China.
no
To an extent.
So,
To an
yeah,
extent,
I mean,
some.
every now and then, when you log in, if you ask to generate a meeting and all that, they have different servers around the world, and whichever server is available, that's the one that issues you the information, the security certificate, the meeting number, whatever. So, if it happens to be a Chinese, then okay, Chinese. So it's you can't. Nobody can.
It's a witch hunt. We need to go with pitchforks and
Yeah.
torches.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
I mean, it's now again, if you're using Zoom today for highly classified stuff, which is doesn't really go together, then
Yeah.
you shouldn't use it. Wait until things are fixed, or use something else that is secure.
Use something you host on your own,
Yeah,
if that's the case.
I mean,
Come on.
people are
Yeah.
talking about that. I never tried it. What is WebEx?
Oh,
WebEx,
WebEx
Yeah,
is huge.
WebEx is exactly the same.
It's the exact same thing. It's
Yeah.
Cisco.
Okay.
It's the same BS.
All right, they're talking about GoToMeeting.
Same thing.
Same thing.
And
All
it's
right,
just owned by
see,
a different company. That's all.
It's I guess the reason why we don't hear about it, it's because they don't have as many.
No,
Yeah, 'cause
They also don't
they're
have
focused on enterprise.
they're focused. They don't have a free version for home use.
Yeah. Well,
They,
it's
they
again.
may be offering it now during the crisis. but
Bottom
they
line,
don't have.
it's because of the numbers. You don't have a free one, then your numbers are going to be low. It's the people are going to use it.
Well, here's the question: why
Yeah.
are we talking about China? I mean, really? I mean, everybody's talking about China, 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 China,
Yeah,
China,
true.
China. I mean, it's just China. China runs the entire world when it comes to technology.
Yeah, they are.
They do. I mean, we talked about this debate months ago about Huawei and the 5G thing. This
and
isn't new.
They run the technology, and not necessarily for the best reasons.
No, they run it
From
because
our-
they
from our
want to own it,
perspective. Yeah.
and they've done a bang up job at flooding the world's economy with cheap garbage, so that they can own it all.
Yeah, and now they
And
flood
they've
the
done
world.
a hell of a job at it. And the goal is what you're seeing right now is complete and utter reliance on on the country. It's a strictly a political thing. And as Gall said, you're dealing with a third of the freaking world's population. If you're not in China, you're missing out on billions of,
Yep.
if not trillions of dollars.
Look at before even the virus situation struck. Look at the NBA. Right? Was it originally about the virus that the NBA statements came out that caused all the controversy where they
Yes,
would
because
defend?
the
It was for
NBA,
the early days of the virus before we knew
yes,
what was happening. Yeah.
yes, you had
So,
NBA players that were coming out against China, and then they were told to shut up because China has a huge
it was the
stake in
Hong
the
Kong
NBA.
thing. It was
Yeah,
Hong Kong. It was an NBA coach who came out, and they basically all shut him down
yeah, the
because
Mavericks coach, I think.
yeah. So you can't defend China. I mean, you can't defend the Hong Kong because China represents more than a third of the revenue for the NBA.
Yeah, NBA is huge in China.
Oh,
So, well, you know what? It's going to come to a head because all of a sudden now people are hearing about it. People have never heard about it before, about the controversy with China. It wasn't on anybody's radar, or now it's on everybody's radar.
But why would it be? I mean, you go through your daily life,
Right.
Spence. You go to Walmart and buy something. It says made in China. You're not. Most people aren't thinking about it, but now you are.
The supply chain stories that you're hearing.
Yeah.
It's all out there now about how we have far too reliant for our pharmaceutical materials, for just the couple of stories in the last week about who's shipping who what with medical appliances and medical equipment. So these are things that people are already calling for. Bring all that. They want to pass bills to bring the manufacturing back to the United States. Literally, just cut them off and say nope. But the one thing that I don't know if anybody follows Scott Adams much. I don't agree with a lot of his politics. He's way out there on some things, but the guy does understand the way society works and how people influences and how people can influence. But he was saying that the situation with China now is such that you'll see in the next couple of months as we come out of this, there's going to be a huge public backlash over and above just the normal sentiment about technology against China because of what's done, what's happening now, what's coming out. And some of it's crazy. I mean, you can't listen to what Alex Jones says about China. But
well, I mean, why not? He's always right.
yeah. Well, in a crazy way, he is. Yeah.
Well, and it's concerning because it's obviously, without getting into the political side of it, I think it'd be great to not be relying on China for so much. But on the flip side, we like our cheap crap, and we like it now, and we like mass quantities of it. So
but what Scott Adams was saying was that Trump understands how you can't just go into China and smack them around. You have to let them have an opportunity to save face. It is a cultural thing that even he's willing to go in and basically let them have a way out by saving face. He may not, he may hold them to something else economically that we don't know about, right? But the public side of it is going to be to try to settle things with China because if you cause their leaders to not to lose face, basically to have a bad cultural reaction from their own people, it is suicide from the Chinese culture. So he understands that when you're dealing with people, negotiating with people, that having them able an outlet, an out to save face is very important. So from our culture, we might not understand that. And a lot of people will object to that. Wait a minute, you're letting them off the hook. When really that's not what it is.
Let's see who called in.
Hi, it's Alfredo, guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
Good morning.
Morning. My question is, because we are such a global community, how do we keep relations with other countries and other world to survive this sort of epidemic?
We learn from what's happening.
Mm.
We've uncharted territory in a lot of ways. We see our own supply chain, how screwed it up is,
Right.
and how the globalism, the way we were heading into globalism was that there's the positive side and then there's the conspiracy side, right? The conspiracy side says one world government, no middle class, everybody just lives the same life. There's the ruling elite and there's the rest of us. But then the good side of globalism is cheap products. We got all this inexpensive stuff.
Oh, right.
So you go to, like Nick was saying about Walmart. Walmart is, I know people that hate Walmart because they think that they don't pay their people enough, or they have issues with, oh, they don't give them more health care or something like that. But Walmart has made the lives of low income people across the world better because
Oh
they
my
have
God, it's crazy.
unbelievable the things that you can buy, the prices you get. Now, yeah, they do negotiate really tough. I know people that had Walmart as clients for whatever, for different industries. They very tough negotiators. But at the same time, you go into Walmart and buy a product that you could buy somewhere else. It may not be, in order for that company to supply Walmart at the price that Walmart is willing to pay, the quality might not be there. So that's some issues. Some things are affected by that. But
So do you think having a president that's in office right now, that our current, do you think having him there is a positive thing for America? I hope I didn't overstep
time
my
will
bounds
tell.
here with a
Time
question.
will tell.
Okay. All right.
Well, I
I
think
think it's all my questions, guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
well, to bring it back to a technology side, I think that our supply chain is screwed when it comes to a lot of things. But I would make the argument, and Spence and Gall, and you may have some insight on this. I think on the technology front is where it's probably the worst. We don't produce anything technology wise in here. I honest
I
to God,
thought
I don't think we produce anything.
I thought we did. In terms
No,
of
we don't.
software,
I
right?
don't believe
I
there's
mean,
any.
software. Don't we? Software. Don't we produce
Well,
software?
software is one thing, but what's the software run on?
Hardware.
Well, this
of course.
has been, I worked in the telecom industry for many, many years and was part of the beginning of the outsourcing of design build, right? Used to be you designed a product, you built it, you spun the silicon in the United States, you built the hardware in the United States, the software was written by people in the United States. I saw this back in the 90s, early 90s, where you started to say, well, we're going to produce this this network box. And notice with Apple, they have on their box, designed in Cupertino, manufactured in China, right? Well, now it's to the point where you send your specs over to the design shop. It could be India. It could be, now it's starting to spin up in Vietnam. It's in other places in China. You send them the spec. Anybody remember what was the name of the big company, local Amnon, that did all of the manufacturing, and they were bought up and taken over by companies from China?
My
So
guess.
Lenovo, I mean IBM.
No, but there was
Oh.
a big. There were factories everywhere over North Carolina that built for Nortel. They built for IBM. They built for all these different.
I don't know.
Foxconn,
Hmm.
huge supply house, was owned by Americans, staffed by Americans, but they became the big design build, where you say, oh, I need a network box, I need 10 ports of this, I need to do this, and I need this software. And they started to do all you did was tell them, here's my requirements, and they went and built it. I remember introducing products where we were working with the contractors who were writing the software. And only input we had, and sometimes it was so far removed. Like when I worked for Nortel, we had a relationship with another very large company that hired another very large design build company that hired a bunch of contractors to write software that we were buying from that company. It's insane. It was just, how do we get a bug fixed? What does it take? You have to go through the chain. So that's what it's become. It's the cheapest provider wherever is possible now to be from anywhere in the world, because we have the internet, we have fast communications, we have uh, planes flying everywhere, moving cargo. You have just in time supply chain where things arrive as they're needed. So if there's an interruption in the transportation, everything goes to crap. So
Oh,
that's what people have to realize. What products are we going to prioritize that we make here because we can't run out of them? Well, I can think of one. I can think of ventilators, right? We
mhm.
don't make that many ventilators in the United States. A lot of them are made elsewhere. So if we have a crisis, we can't spin it up. Look at how we're struggling now. We're making car manufacturers make ventilators, and they're doing it. But you've had people making them in their literally making them in their garage. People taking CPAP machines and linking them together to make a ventilator. So
Well,
this is what we have to come to terms with: is what's happening with our supply chain. Are we willing to pay more to have it made here? That's another
time
question.
will tell.
Yep.
Yep. All right, Alfredo.
Thank you for having me show. I'll be in the chat, guys.
Yeah, man.
Good show.
Thanks for the
All right.
call.
Take
Okay.
care. 919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. Let's see. What else?
I've got a story.
All right.
Well, it's not really a story. Well, it is kind of a story. It's my story. Um, so yesterday we've seen this a little bit, and it happened again yesterday. There was 12 hours of esports on ESPN2 yesterday
Yep.
from 12 noon to midnight. They had the F1 virtual Grand Prix. They had
You
Rocket
just used the
League.
F word?
What?
Did you just use the F word?
Yeah, the FU1 virtual Grand Prix. The NBA, they had Apex Legends, Rocket League, Madden NFL 20. Pretty interesting.
Wasn't there the big NASCAR thing when they had all the people, all the racers in their houses?
They're doing that every Sunday. I think
yeah,
I
that's
think they're
cool.
back on again
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
I'll have to check. But yeah, they've done it the last 2 weeks. The NASCAR iRacing Cup. See if they're on today.
You imagine? I realize a lot of professional players, baseball, football, they've got contracts, so they're not going to just say, "Well, you're not playing, so we're not going to pay you." They're going to get paid.
Yeah, well, the MLB just agreed. The MLB Players Association just agreed to a contract. They're getting paid even if they don't play.
Yeah. But can you imagine if there's no seasons, and then the contracts run out?
Well, I'll tell you what the biggest
gonna-
issue is not the players, it's the
Infrastructure.
the TV networks.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I mean,
billions.
They're getting shafted right now with this thing. I mean, you look at CBS and what they lost on March Madness revenue. I mean, uncomprehendable amount of money. And I'm no CBS apologist, but you they fund a lot of what they do based off sporting events. I mean, you look at the Super Bowl and things like that. Baseball, I mean, so baseball, you've got regional um networks, right? Not every baseball game is on a on over the air. So you've got 30 Major League Baseball teams. Every single one of them, all of their games are televised, and all of their games are on the radio. So think about the staff that it takes to produce 30 baseball games or 30 teams worth of baseball games for the television, for the radio. I mean, you're talking about a huge effect on the industry.
And good paying jobs.
Yeah, home and away team. There are they're always playing.
There's another unintended consequence I was reading about this morning that I knew something was going on, and then all of a sudden Twitter exploded with comments coming in from people in the healthcare industry because someone put out a question. So what's happening in your local hospital? And apparently healthcare workers and hospitals what's happened is that basically all elective surgery, anything that you can put off has been put off. So there are literally hospitals with empty floors because they've concentrated everybody to fight coronavirus, but there's only so much facility that can do that. So the rest of the people that normally work in the hospital are being furloughed. And now they're saying hospitals are hemorrhaging money because they obviously have to have a cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh
it's,
darn!
oh,
They
darn, yeah.
they sounds like they need to charge $82 instead of
Yeah.
$42 for an
Oh, I
ibuprofen.
don't,
I mean,
Darn.
darn.
Don't get me started with insurance and all that stuff. I got I got a Blue
Don't
Cross Blue
start.
Shield
Don't start.
statement about what they billed and what my actual responsibility to pay was. And the average was they bill for something $250. My obligation is 54 after they negotiated down. Why? Why we need transparency in pricing. That would be great. If you knew what everybody charged, you could say, oh, I'll go here because it's a little cheaper.
Well, yeah, there's it goes. I mean,
Virtual surgery. That's what we need. Home surgery.
It won't be home surgery, but you might go into a facility where it is remotely controlled.
When we see the specials, there's a product in there that
now
will
the
help us with
latest
that.
the latest victim. Amazon is postponing its major summer shopping event, Prime Day, at
Oh my
least
God!
Wow.
at least until
That's it.
August. They're not
The
doing away
world's
with it.
over.
They're postponing.
Of
The
course.
world is
yeah.
over.
And expects potentially a 100 million hit from excess devices it may now have to sell at a discount, according to internal meeting notes seen by Reuters.
Hey Amnon,
Yes,
can I do something?
absolutely.
Can I host my own Prime Day? All right, I've got
You have enough
3
stuff.
in the box Amazon smart plugs. If anybody's interested, it's Nick's Prime Day. These are available for $25 a piece. You can just send me a message in the chat. And these are official Amazon, not open. These are still in the box.
and
Very nice.
Instacart is working.
Yeah, absolutely. You just send
For
me a
you.
message, I'll ship it to you. 25 bucks and plus $5 shipping.
Are these the Zigbee ones?
No, these are the Amazon ones. These are the
No,
Amazon brand ones.
Wi-Fi or
Wi-Fi.
Zigbee?
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Come on, Gal.
I don't want
Know
Wi-Fi.
your Brent wants me to sell toilet paper. I mean, I have some. I could sell some of that too if you're interested.
Gall, what is Zigbee range up to now? I know it's good. I know it's good
It's-
for home, but is
I
it?
think around 100 feet, but Zigbee is a mesh network. So
Yeah, but I mean, it's still originally the criticism was kind of like what is it what do they call it, near end? Remember the original
it's somewhere
NFC?
between 30 to 10, 30 to
near
100
field,
feet.
near field.
Yeah,
when they
but
first we were working on when I worked for Nortel, we were working on the virtual desktop with near field communications where you walked up to a cubicle and you had a RFID chip that got picked up, and then everything was on that desk, the phone, the computer, everything was suddenly configured for you because it used near field to configure all these devices. It's kind of cool.
sounds cool. I mean, Zigbee today is much better than Z-Wave because it's open source, because there's no royalty to pay, and it's been revamped, the entire development of it. Z-Wave is still the most abundant solution, though. So when it comes to wireless smart devices, Internet of Things, my house is mostly Z-Wave. I have a few Zigbee items, mostly bought them thinking they are interchangeable at the beginning, right? When I didn't know much. Today, if I would have had the choice, I probably would start with Zigbee. But yeah, doesn't, and of course have a hub that supports both always.
Well, there's a actually something new that first time I hear about it. Wi-Fi 6.
Wi-Fi 6.
Devices with Wi-Fi 6 started rolling out at the end of 2019. But now,
AX.
a new vote proposed by the FCC could open up the 6 gigahertz band to unlicensed Wi Fi and add a massive speed boost to wireless gadgets. The FCC vote is scheduled to take place on April 23rd. And if passed, which looks like it will, would add 1200 megahertz of available bandwidth to the usable Wi Fi spectrum, which the FCC says would effectively increase the amount of spectrum available for Wi Fi almost by a factor of 5.
So
That,
it's, I mean, it always sounds great by getting more speed,
Mhm.
but the higher they go on the range of um, frequencies, the
the
shorter the
shorter,
distance.
yeah,
I mean, even Wi-Fi 5, right? 5 gigahertz. We're talking about what? I leave the room and I can't connect anymore. It's getting ridiculous.
yeah.
I don't know.
We'll go
I
back to
wish I'm
900.
about to replace my entire Wi-Fi network. I'm gonna buy a bunch of Ubiquiti uh, hotspots and stuff, and I'm guessing that will help a lot by having a mesh network that actually works well. But again,
You can
the 5 gigahertz, I still doubt it's gonna solve my issue.
you can put a dish in every room.
That works for download maybe. What do I do with upload?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But yeah, I mean you can always go to uh 900 megahertz because nobody's using it now. You'll be really secured in a way. Nobody is going to look for you on 900.
Well, even if they do look, it's gonna be really slow.
No.
When I was in the Navy, I was in submarine tracker ship. That was what we did there, and there's this communication device to talk with your submarine, and everything works because it's in water. RF doesn't work, right? So uh, it uses demodulated sound, and it's very, very, very slow. And so you need to speak really slow
Was it a hydrophone
for
kind of thing?
uh, I, I I I mean the technology is basically sending sound waves like like a submarine ping, a torpedo ping, right? A ping, the same idea as radar
Radar.
and communication devices using RF, just using voice waves, and but because of the huge latency water creates even with voice waves, you the communication what you want to communicate needs to be really stretched so everything will go through. It's really weird. So yeah, let's go down on the frequency range.
See the discussion about Wi-Fi coming out. There are new versions of Wi-Fi, and I'm hoping that nobody clogs up the 900 megahertz spectrum again because I have some stuff running on that. It's nice. It's pretty much open now. Nobody uses it,
Source fans.
so it's like and it works really well in the house. It's a relatively low uh, frequencies that penetrate walls better. I have
Yep.
Yeah,
my UMA alarm system running on it.
but that means to bypass your own UMA alarm system, all you need to do is just flood
Oh,
the
jam.
area
No, I
with
realize you're
yeah,
going to jam it,
yeah.
but the wireless sensors in the house run on 900 megahertz.
I wonder
I'm
I
not.
wonder how these Zigbee, Z-Wave, and all of that, how they fare when it comes to jamming. How jamming would work there.
I'm sure there is a way, but it all again. I think that you got nothing to worry about the 900 megahertz because I don't think any anybody with a jamming device has 900 megahertz programmed into that program that
it's
they're going to use to jam.
it's off the
It's
radar for them,
it's
basically.
it's
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 security by obscurity.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you you have the latest stuff because okay, people are using the latest stuff.
Well, that's kind of why I like it. I mean, it's and Uma uses Desit also, which is the
Mm-hmm. Tech,
handset.
Oh
yeah,
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 yeah. Phone.
and- yeah, the
right,
phone frequencies, which is also relatively unused.
Mhm.
Um,
yeah. All right, listen to this. Those of you that like music, satellite radio giant Sirius XM announced last week it's made its 300 plus channel streaming service available for free in North America starting last week through May 15th. Now, the thing is, it's not for your radio in the car. You have to download the app and use it on a computer or on your device. You go to SiriusXM and the information is there. But it's nice that they do that.
There's nothing serious about Sirius
Nothing
XM.
serious.
Well,
The-
I'll tell you what the big concern here is for them is this that is the first thing people cut when the time get when time gets tough is their satellite radio subscription. They're gonna they're gonna hurt a lot after this is all said and done. That is an absolute, and it's relatively expensive. It's like $15 a month or something.
It is ridiculously expensive, and the benefits are so minimal that I literally do not understand people.
Well, it depends what you want to listen to. If you want to listen to Howard Stern, you have Sirius XM.
Yeah,
There's no
because
other
it's an
alternative.
exclusive. But
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that it's more people that traveling salesmen, traveling whatever. If
yeah,
you
you have
travel a
IP
lot,
based,
then you get it. But
but you have IP based communication today. You don't need that
Let me
anymore.
tell you what. So my mother's got Sirius in her car. It's all she uses. It's not that she couldn't use a regular radio. It's just that it's convenient not to have to flip between stations to listen to music. It's a
But all you
convenience thing.
but all you need to do, right, is play something on your phone via
Yeah, but it's
Bluetooth.
not as simple. You don't just hop in the car and it turn
I
on.
agree, but that's the thing. It's they did a bang job in marketing this, but this is basically overrated technology, really expensive to run, really expensive to buy, right? Where all the alternative you want is just a radio inside your car that can hook up to a cell tower and plays exactly the same type of content, even a Sirius XM application, right? And then you cut all of the, I mean, the technology around it is ridiculously expensive
It
and
is.
ridiculously ineffective compared to what we already have. Yes, when they started, IP wasn't that available, but it was like on the brink of emerging. And this is like this is like Betamax and VHS. We're keeping this alive, or the DVD format. We're keeping this alive just because there's this company that poured a lot of money into it, right?
Well, we're keeping
But
it alive because it's convenient, and they've got the car companies bundling it with them. Absolutely. If you go and
right,
buy a new car today, it's there, and it's about the exclusives. There are things on Sirius that you can't listen to via IP.
I
That's
would
why people
yes,
listen to it. Yeah, it's the same way argument with
exclusive. It's
DirecTV.
marketing, right?
Yeah,
Exclusive is marketing.
same
So
thing with DirecTV. You can only watch NFL Sunday Ticket Football on DirecTV. It's
right,
2020. You have to put a freaking satellite dish outside your house to watch a freaking NFL game.
or rate it,
It's the same thing.
or you go to rate it.
Yeah, or you go to a bar, which has a satellite dish and
Yeah.
DirecTV. I mean, so it's
No, but
I
I
mean,
would venture to say that after this, if a lot of people are going to take advantage of this free offer, they're going to gain some subscribers out of it because
Not
people
once
will
they see the cost.
well, I mean, people will see the cost. I mean, they will look into it, but they'll discover things that, wow.
Well, I'll give you a
I
great
doubt it.
example. If you're a newsie, if you like listen, if you're a big news person, you can listen to Fox, CNN, MSNBC, Fox Business. All of those channels have got what are just audio feeds of their cable TV channels. You can't get that anywhere else. You can't stream CNN in your car. You can't stream Fox News in your car.
TuneIn doesn't do it.
No, not at all. Those are exclusives on SiriusXM. So I mean, it depends on what you want to listen to. If you're just trying to listen to music, Gal, I would agree with you. It's
CNN,
kind of a
free
waste.
internet radio, and TuneIn.
But remember, not everybody has unlimited uh
That's CNN radio. That's not
data.
CNN.
Yeah. Still.
That's
Okay.
that's not CNN. Like it's the cable feed of CNN. Not that I don't know why you'd want to listen to that anyway. But so again, Gal, I would agree with you completely. If you just want to listen to music, I would agree. It's totally antiquated technology and definitely not worth it. But if you want to listen to the big things on Sirius, obviously Howard Stern, then you've got the comedy channels, and then news and stuff like that. One of the guys I worked with down here, who I drove around with a lot when I was shadowing him, that's all he listened to was Fox News on Sirius XM. That was always on. Literally cannot get that anywhere else. It is not available.
Well,
That's Gene's saying the same thing. That's why Gene loves it. I'm sure that's because he likes listening to news in there, which you cannot get anywhere else.
So what you're saying is we need to start to make IP-based car radios that stream Fox News, and we're in business.
Yeah, pretty much.
well, I mean, once you have once you have an IP radio in your car, then
But you
it's
don't
up
need an
to,
IP radio in your car. You need a phone with Bluetooth. It's the same difference.
well, I mean, until you we said it before years ago, until the situation is that you can go in your car, turn on the radio, press a button, and
Oh,
get
we're
just
there.
just
We're
like,
there. Android Auto and
well,
what's
CarPlay.
the
CarPlay.
iPhone one? CarPlay. That's exactly what they do.
yeah. So then it's up to Fox and all the others to create their own uh feed
Which they won't
and
because
No,
well,
Yeah, because
no,
you
that's
got
not.
it. You can get
That's
it
not.
from iHeartRadio and lots of there's apps now that will let you just pick what show do you want to listen to, and it finds a radio station that's streaming it live and it sends it to your phone.
Right, and sometimes you can use the actual app that Fox produces or CNN or CNBC or whoever, right? And they stream the audio.
let me tell you the big thing here. This is what's so great about in terms of what I would imagine on Fox's side. Sirius is paying Fox to include their channel on their service, and Fox doesn't have to do anything. No infrastructure, nothing. It's just done.
That's for Fox. I have a
Yeah.
friend who runs a radio station for hard rock music, right?
Okay.
In order to be on Sirius XM, he needs to pay them.
Yeah.
So Fox, a big media, which they want as an exclusive, yeah, they pay.
Yeah.
But the little guys, the little stations, they won't. They won't get that. And on IP, you don't need to pay anyone, right?
Correct.
So that's why
But
I
for
say,
example, I'll tell you what a big problem with IP is, and you're seeing it right now. Everybody loves TuneIn. You know you can't add a station to TuneIn for the last 6 or 8 months.
yeah, I remember you telling me
They've
that.
closed their submission process.
Then
So
we
the
need to switch
biggest
to another application.
Yeah, but you say switch, it's built into the Amazon devices, it's built into the Google devices, it's built into cars. I mean,
So will it? You can with IP based, you can always introduce the new application that will do that,
hopefully, yeah.
right? Especially if we're talking about the infrastructure that Google and Apple are providing for cars, right? So you're getting a lot more freedom.
I mean, the way I see IP phone, I mean, IP radio is the same as a regular radio, in that when you tune, instead of going from 80 to 90 to 100 to
Right.
100.7,
You just
you
search
go
for what you want.
IP addresses. And you can enter the IP address that you want to go to.
Yeah, that's not how people want to use the radio.
Well, I understand, but
Right.
if you can set it up, I mean, today you can go to your radio and say, I want to listen to WRAL. No, you have to go and find WRAL on the dial and mark it. So it's the same thing here. It's going to change the way that people are getting it. So they say, okay, I want to listen to WRAL on my radio. Hey, WRAL, what is the IP address I need to tune into? Okay, so you punch it once and you press the button and you hold it in, and that's it. From then on, this is WRL.
Right. And
This,
that's what TuneIn provided, right?
yeah, well, in
So
a way, yeah.
TuneIn is failing the audience. Then we switch to another application.
There, unfortunately, there's not that many of them. There's the
I agree.
tuning.
Not yet. No, I
Yeah.
mean, it's gonna become more and more of a thing, right?
Hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I agree. Hopefully. Now, here, before we get into the specials, here's something that happened this week with me and Spectrum. So I got the bill from Spectrum, and it went up $10.40 or something.
Bastards.
What the hell?
Don't they know that it's coronavirus and they're raising your bill?
Well,
at least hey, you shouldn't have. You don't even have to pay it. They can raise your bill, just don't pay it.
It's a convenience fee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you're right. Yeah.
So I called in and I said, yeah, I want to cancel. So the girl came up and we talked, and she said, I said, look, unless you bring it down a good chunk, I'm canceling, because I mean, today I can just do it all online. So we talked, and she said, oh, you have a Time Warner account. We can change you to Spectrum. And I said, to me, it's one and the same. Come on, what are you talking about? She said, no,
It's
not
a ploy.
internal.
It's a ploy.
Well, she said, let me see.
They
So
did it to me.
So she comes back after about 5 minutes that she's figuring things out. She said, so instead of, well, it went up to 200 and some dollars, 210 or 208, it's going to be 178. I said, that's not low enough. She said, well, we have a service that you can get 10, your local, no, you get all your local stations, 25 stations, plus you can choose 10 from a list. So I said, where's the list? And I went and I looked, and the list looks pretty good, and it would be great. And I said, so how much would that cost? She said, that will bring it down to 136. I said, well, that sounds more like it. So I need to show it to Kathy. So I mark it and I sent the URL to Kathy to look at also. And I'm reading, and only in one place it mentioned that no cable box is necessary.
Whoa.
So I said, oh, so this is streaming. And then as you read more, because there was a link to it, it said, yeah, what you need is you need a computer or blah, 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 or the app. And I said, okay, they're doing streaming. So
$130 to do that?
well,
Well,
remember,
internet and TV.
that includes also the internet. That's everything.
But
So-
yeah, that's expensive.
Yeah. So I didn't get a chance to get back to them, but I really think that at this point, forget it, cut the cord, and figure out how to use an antenna for local and everything else online.
Well,
But
here's the thing, Amnon. So if you look at you, right?
Yeah.
You and Kathy, you're both retired. Well, I mean, you work at home, but
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
So obviously you are home a lot more than people that
Right.
work a regular 9 to 5. So
Right.
TV is a lot more, and this is something that people don't seem to understand. People my age don't seem to understand is, yeah, well, I'm not home all day. So of course TV is not that, well, I am now, but
Right.
previously I wasn't home all day. So it didn't matter, but you've already got Amazon Prime.
Right.
Because you have that anyway. So you've got service there.
Right.
Do you or
Netflix.
Hannah have a Netflix account?
Yeah.
So you've already got a Netflix account.
Right.
And you do watch news, which, I mean, it's not like adding another wire to your house would be the end of the world. You can put an antenna up.
Right. That's the trick. And the trick
And then
here
you got it.
is that to get Kathy to know what to do when and how to get to this and how to get to that. When now you just sit in front of the TV, you turn it on, and you click the remote. That's the trick
Amnon,
here.
it is a challenge because
I
I
know.
looked at, I could replace everything I have and save money.
Yeah.
But it would be 3 different services.
Yeah.
Plus a whole new way to do it.
Right. That's
So
the
it's
that's the
reason why I
problem. The
haven't done it.
problem
And I thought
is
about setting up a local Android box and have I can record and all that stuff. It's just not worth it for me to
yeah,
try to. I can do
that's
it.
the thing. That
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the benefit of getting like an HD home run from Silicon Dust. You set that guy up, and you can record TV things over the air. It gives you a nice guide and everything. It's pretty nice.
I had a device called Simple TV back years ago, probably 2014 is when I set it up. First year I went to Alaska and I bought a Winegard omnidirectional antenna, which is at the highest point in my attic. I get 50 channels on this stupid
That's
thing,
crazy.
right? It's powered. It's like look like a flying saucer. And the Simple TV it was great. It was you bought the box, it was a perpetual license, and you hooked it up to a hard drive and it recorded local TV. Even had a excuse me, even
Yeah,
had a directory.
Right.
like your own
But
private TiVo, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it worked great for a while. And then they came out with a dual tuner version. I didn't buy it. It was expensive. And then finally they closed their doors. They just couldn't
Yeah, so
compete
that's
with
what
the cheaper.
HD Home Run does.
Yeah, but
Well,
it's
does
same,
that-
that's what I mean. They had this was an actual service. But their product was so limited because if they didn't keep up with new features and all that, it's like,
Do you
it
remember?
worked good for a while. I could watch recorded content anywhere on the internet.
Do you guys remember the name of that box that Mike always used to talk about that he had? It was a standard definition recorder.
Not a Cody.
No, he always sung this thing's high praise, but it was only standard definition. He's got a bunch of them. I don't remember the name of it. I think it was something similar to what you're describing. But I think Silicon Dust is the only one left with the HD home run. I don't know of any other box that anybody makes. I mean, I'm sure they're out there, but
Well,
it's the
I mean,
most well-known
Plex
one.
has DVR support, and I'm pretty sure there was a list of um, supported tuners. Let me see.
Oh, actually, Amnon, that's a great idea.
so on Plex.
Yeah, you could run a Plex server locally with a tuner, and then you could use everything inside a Plex. You wouldn't even have to have the antenna hooked up to that TV. You would just use the Plex. It would use the tuner over the network. That's a great idea. Then you wouldn't have to buy an antenna for every TV. That's the move right there.
Amnon, if you get a one of those climbing harnesses, I'll put the antenna up in that cell phone tower behind your house.
Just a super long coax cable from the top of the.
You would have an
cell
antenna that would be 300 feet in the air. You'd
Yeah.
be set.
That's all right. I've got 1,000 feet of coax.
So
Anyway, yeah.
Silicon Dust, Hauppauge,
Hauppauge.
Hauppauge.
Hauppauge,
Hauppauge.
and Antennas Direct. Those are,
Hauppauge.
yeah.
Really? They're still
Yeah,
around?
that's how it's pronounced. It's not Hauppauge, it's Hauppauge.
Yeah.
I worked in Hauppauge. That's a town.
Really?
Yes, it's a town out on Long Island.
Well, yeah,
I-
but it's also a name brand.
I bought my first video capture cards from them.
Yep,
I
the
still have
HD
them.
DVR.
And tuners. I actually had an HD tuner I bought from one of the last times I built my own home server. Wow.
So
They
not only
they make
that,
good stuff.
they have something called Win TV Dual HD that the server software can run on an NVIDIA Shield. So you don't even need a full-blown PC to run your DVR. So yeah.
God, we're gonna cut the cord for Amnon. We're gonna set up a Plex.
But
server.
I don't. But I don't want a deflated PC.
No, you'll get a PC.
I want. I don't
Oh,
want.
you don't have any spare. You don't have any. You got what? 7,000 edge servers sitting in your
not
office.
but not deflated. I mean, if it's not full blown, then that means it's deflated. It won't bounce or anything. Come on, Nick.
Yeah, but actually, that's so anybody that's interested in cutting the cord, that's probably the better approach is to run a Plex media server with one of these tuners so that you don't have to snake coax through your entire house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the move.
Now, don't get us wrong. It is a techie setup.
Oh, very simple. Just
It-
download, just
it
install
is simple.
Ubuntu and
It
just
is simple,
install the dead
but
package and set it all up. Very simple.
I agree that it's rather simple, right? Even
He's
for
being
non-techie.
he's
I
being
know, I know, I
he's
know
being
he's being
sarcastic.
facetious,
Yeah.
but it doesn't look nice. You need a place to store this thing that's out of sight, right?
Mhm.
And that's probably the main deterrent for most people in cutting the cord. Even if somebody comes in and does it for you and it will run perfectly, nothing run perfectly in this world, but will run perfectly without your you even needing to touch or understand what's going on. It still needs a place in the home to run that is out of sight. Otherwise,
Then forget
it's
it.
an eyesore.
Forget it then. I don't have room for it.
Jesus.
All right, Spence,
Yes,
are you ready for special?
I'm ready. And I have to say that in keeping with our new tradition of coming up with something weird every week during our crisis here, normal specials not applying because
Right.
it seems like the retailers are adjusting every week.
Yeah.
So this week, what we put together was, boy, I'm bored. Look what I found on the interweb. So I went out and I did take advantage of a few websites that actually had some suggestions, and I found some other stuff on my own. But we can explore what you can actually shop from home and have delivered to your isolation now, just for fun. Ready? Specials for April 5th, 2020. If you're wondering, you can actually order on Amazon. The first several pages here are things that are available on Amazon. Well, most things are available on Amazon.
You're kidding.
You can buy a 40-foot container, shipping container, convert it into a tiny home and have it delivered to your house. Completely self-contained. Well, I shouldn't say self-contained. It has a water in, power in, and a sewer line out. I didn't include the pictures of the inside. But if you if you're a prepper, instant place to live that's built on a really secure chassis. It's got the big doors on the back and closed, so you can cut off the French doors on the back of this thing. Absolutely amazing. $36,000 plus 3754 shipping. And you can have it between April 15th and April 30th. How many can I put you down for, Amnon?
I'm thinking about changing the Connex box I have.
Yeah, you just said you didn't have enough room. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe you can put the server there.
No, these are stackable. These are stackable.
Yeah, these are stackable and
You can
side by
stack them up
side.
to like 6 high.
Yeah.
So, hey, Amnon, a motel.
There
That's
were
what you get 6 of them.
people actually built a home from Connex boxes by welding them together
saw
and
that. The
cutting
guy-
between
It was
them.
and was really cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did all kinds of weird stacking methods.
Yep.
So very cool.
The new definition of a slumlord, putting $3,600 cargo containers in
Yeah,
your
but-
house.
See, but this
so
is
Alan
this,
is saying you have to anchor it so Twister doesn't
Thi-
take it 2 states away.
well, look,
yeah,
let
would be
me
a
tell
good
you something.
idea.
Now, wait a second. I don't think a hurricane will turn this over like they do mobile home.
Well, wind will do. Wind is amazing if it's not anchored.
Yeah, but I mean that thing
Yeah,
is
what mostly destroys homes in a tornado is pressure,
Oh.
pressure differential. It just tears houses to shreds. It makes them basically explode. High pressure, low pressure on one side, and the other just destroys houses that way.
all right.
Okay, so all right, so that's number one.
Well,
Second one, you
Spence,
can get your
Wait
what?
a
I'm sorry?
second. Wait.
I don't see the Prime logo, but is this Prime?
No, I'm sorry, it's not Prime. Can you imagine free delivery? How would they
Free
deliver it on
returns.
the gray van pulls up with this? That'd be something. All right, you can get your very own bag of 1,500 live ladybugs.
What?
Ladybugs are actually very good for your garden.
Mhm.
And if you're out there spending time in your garden for $7.25 and $7.25 shipping. So I guess there must be some kind of special shipping because they need to keep them alive. After all, that's what they're advertised for. But you release these into your garden and they will take over and get rid of a lot of nasties out there. So
How
725.
they say guarantee live delivery. How are they not crushed
Yeah,
during
it's,
I think
delivery?
that's why the special, why you pay 725 for the shipping and not Prime.
you
That is
know,
so weird.
in the early days of the pond outside, my little cement pond, I ordered 3 turtles from Florida, baby turtles, and they delivered them live in a crush-proof box and everything. Took them out. They were fine. They have ways to do it. All right.
Helicopter. That's why it costs 725 extra. But they have to wait till they have like 100 orders in the same area for it to be worth it. So, all right, next one is you can own your own tin of uranium ore. Only $39.95 plus free shipping. So startle your friends, hand it to them and say, I dare you to open it, right? And I don't know what activity 984 CPM, have to look that up. Maybe that's something per minute, right? Somebody wants to look that up. I don't know what that means. But okay, here is very, very useful in these times. Complete suture practice kit for suture training. Right, seriously, right?
Yeah,
I, so if you're a prepper and you want to set up the van with your with your go bags and all that stuff, you got to have a suture kit.
Does
that
it
or if you're an apprentice serial killer.
That too.
Yeah,
If you're Dexter, right? It's one of those
does it
deals.
come with the knife so you can cut the person first and then
yeah, 4
fix them?
blades there.
There are 4 blades, right? Yeah. Say,
Oh,
I need to practice. Can I slit your arm open? Yeah, no
Oh
problem.
man,
It does say for demonstration and execution use only, but it doesn't say that it's not real. It actually comes with the wound board. You see that? Look at
yeah,
that. The scissor one. I like the crisscross one. What do you think that's used for? Autopsies. When they put the person
right.
back together at the end, they use that stitch. Oh yes,
or on the
it's
edge of
amazing.
a material so it will not fray.
Yes. All right.
All right.
Okay. So you've always wondered 50 do-it-yourself projects for keeping goats. So Amnon, goats are on their way. I ordered a couple goats for you, live delivered live. By the way, you'll have to get out. You have to let them out of the box like within 4 hours of delivery, though.
I
So,
hope they're Billy.
so you need to build a milking structure, a fence, a play structure for all that stuff. So you'll be getting this book as part of it. Believe it or not, Amazon had at least 6 or 8 different versions of zip lines. So if you have a big enough backyard that you can put up a 118-foot zip line for kids, if they're bored out of their skulls, this thing will hold up to 250 pounds. Can you imagine the fun of this?
I'm
184
trying to
bucks.
imagine a kid weighing 250 pounds.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It
Yeah,
also
for
make
me.
it probably a great 40-meter antenna for ham radio if you.
That's I'll
And
tell
and
you.
don't
I'll
forget
tell you
and
a
don't
story.
don't forget to
But
call your insurance agent
oh God,
yeah,
no.
to
I'll
add a
tell you.
rider.
We were having a family Zoom discussion the other day, and I was mentioned something about my childhood. My good friend, uh, who I grew up with, who's a retired New York City fireman. We lived a couple houses away from each other. We were friends, literally in the same playpen. Our mothers were good friends, and when we got older, we were always getting in trouble. He had 2 older brothers that would egg us on to do crazy stuff. So his father was a New York City fireman, and he would get retired ropes from the fire department. They would be if they existed over a certain period of time, they had to discard them. So he would bring them home. So we set up a rope that went from the telephone pole in the backyard. We tied it around as high as we could go, just below the power on the telephone pole. We stretched that rope to the front yard. It was probably 130 feet, I guess, or more, through the notch in a tree, and then tied it to the trailer hitch on the back of the car. And it was a standard. So we took it out of gear and rolled it back, and then locked the parking brake to keep it tight. And we made our own zip line. think about it. We were 10 years old. This is a long time ago. And we got in so much trouble. Oh my God. We
Huh.
came home and saw what we were doing. We were screwed.
Okay.
Okay. So you can order for 1669 Prime delivered by well, why if it's Prime, why would it be free delivery by April 22nd?
Oh, they even said
I
that it
know.
may take 2-3 weeks for Prime now.
Yeah, for some stuff. Your backyard discovery Skyfort cedar swing set. That'd be awesome, right? What kids would love that.
I think Costco's price is better.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And Amnon, I don't think that this next thing will fit
No.
Gaia. No, it's a little too small. But for $9.97, you can get a wig for your pet.
Yep.
Very cute. All right. I know, Amnon, you've been waiting to order this now. It's your TCI 311038 Sizzler transmission. All set to go, all ready to go. Pan included, everything you need. The only thing it doesn't have is a torque converter for $992. Prime. It can be delivered by April 11th. And you see the guy in the gray van trying to get this out of the back of the truck. It's, I mean, this transmissions are aluminum, yes, but the steel parts inside. It's heavy. It probably
Mhm.
weighs 200-300 pounds.
Mhm.
So interesting. Only 17 left in stock, so you must order now. Okay, if you've always wondered what it was like to build your own ukulele, or I should say, as the purists say, the ukulele, right? Supposedly is the correct way to say it. You can build your own concert version, which is a larger ukulele, a kit for $33.99. So if you're looking for something to do, you got a place to work, got some basic tools, there you go. All right, Easter's coming. Order quickly. You get your Easter egg decoration craft kit. 12 eggs. Why would they send you the? Oh, they're plastic eggs. They got to be plastic eggs. Can't be real eggs. Adhesive foam, sheep, rabbit, and chick, a do-it-yourself project. And this is the book. This is a bestseller. I mean, it's been a bestseller on the New York Times bestseller list now. Dancing with Cats, from the creators of International Something Something, Crazy Cat Lady Gifts. Um, what can you do with your cat? You're bored out of your mind. Your cat is making you insane because you're home all day. Here you go. Hardcover for
Amazing.
$10.99. Why would anybody want this? This is a 18
You
by
don't understand. You're not a
12
cat
inch.
person.
What's that?
You do not understand. You're not a cat person.
Oh no, I have two daughters. I'm talking about the next product. Oh no,
Okay.
I would buy these. My one daughter and my son both have cats,
Mm.
and they're amazing personalities. My daughter's cats are getting old though. They're actually starting to do really weird stuff. But this next thing is it's $20 in free shipping. It's an 18 by 12 inch decal of two senior citizens on a golf cart.
What?
And look at the description. Look at how
It's
long the
huge, yeah.
description is. Why? Why?
I think they. So I have a story. Um, this is for tricking people into clicking buying something cheap that they think is like a steal, right? The description looks like it's describing the actual golf cart,
Mhm.
and you're sure you're buying a golf cart for $20.
Wow.
Uh, so
Wow.
we had a party, and a while back, when people used to have parties, and um, one of the uh, uh, one of the guests, they liked a particular brand of alcohol, of uh, sorry, whiskey, and um, and we're not big on alcohol, and we were like playing with the thought that maybe alcohol can be delivered online, right? There's some solution, and we're searching around, and I see a bottle for $16. The price seems to be approximate. It's like a small bottle. The price seems to be approximately right. I'm super busy. My wife sends me the link. It looks like that's the brand that we need. and we're surprised that it actually has delivery from Amazon, etc. And I tell her, yeah, buy it. I didn't go into the details, and it will arrive on the day of the party. 4 hours before the party, door knocks, Amazon delivers, and we get this very large and thin cardboard box, very light. And when we see the Amazon guy, I think it was UPS, knock on the door, I tell my wife, yeah, here it is. I open, I hold it, it's really light. I tell her something's wrong. We open it, it's a sign for a bar with the brand.
Oh, jeez.
That was
Oh.
like so I'm thinking
Oh.
this thing is for the exact same audience, for those who are in a
Oh,
hurry to
gosh.
buy a car.
It says easy and fun to apply.
Exactly.
You go.
Oh
But
man.
it's a lot smaller. At first, it said wall poster, wall
Yeah.
decal. You're thinking, oh, it's like, for the back of the garage or something like that on the wall. No, it's 12. It's 18 by 12 inches. All right, Amnon,
Yeah, what's
this
that?
will fit Gaia.
As seen on TV.
As seen on TV, the
I've
Puff
never
and
seen it
Fluff
on
dog
TV.
dryer.
Dog dryer.
You know what that reminds me? The old timey hair dryer for women.
Yeah.
Oh
And
man.
it comes in
this
4
is-
sizes.
Oh,
I don't have a dog. I think I'm gonna buy this anyway.
Just for fun. Just for fun. Poor
Oh,
dog.
this is awesome.
Dude, there was a guy years ago. It wasn't a comedy thing. He invented a dog washer. It was a plexiglass box with a hole for the dog's head to stick out of. And it acted like a dishwasher, more like a dishwasher than it was a car wash. But it would come on, and there were jets that would spray the dog, and it would soap the dog up, and when it would rinse it, and then it would turn on a fan and dry the dog, and the dog stepped out.
And then
And
you put him in this.
There's actually a thing with this. You see, they're called do-it-yourself dog washes. They're pretty popular around the country, and they're kind of what you're describing, Spence.
Oh, it's a location. I know a guy that
Yeah.
owns one.
Yeah, there's
locally,
one couple down here. It's
Yeah.
called like K9000, I think, and it's
Yep.
just
I know a guy that has at least one. That
Yeah,
he set up.
it's pretty
and
neat.
It's very popular.
now
yeah, because
this
people don't want to wash their dogs in their bathtubs at home, so they bring it here. You spend $20 and you can have access to all of it.
this
So
does
you
not
have to
include
actually
this
provide
does
the
not
blow
include the
dryer.
hair dryer.
Yeah, that's right. It says the large one, just the large uses 2 blow dryers.
Yep.
Wow.
Stereo.
Amazing. All right. Now if you want to
You
do
get
your own,
you get hours and hours of enjoyment by
That's-
trying to put your dog into it.
Oh, I never thought of that. That's incredible. I can't even put my daughter's dog into the harness to take her out to walk. All right. Horror sounds instrument, waterphone, movie, weird sound effects, unusual instrument for $299.
Well,
Amazing.
he
don't know.
needed to buy the parts somewhere.
Says the product is totally handmade
Yeah.
and for
looks that
precision.
way.
Each item takes 3 to 5 days to produce. They got to convince you it's worth it because it takes a long time to make it.
Yeah.
So apparently you slide your finger on each of these individual tuned rods to give you that. What was the instrument that they used for?
It had a weird name.
Yeah, the Z phone.
Xylophone?
No, it's like that though. It's like that. It was used. It's funny. At the time that they used this for horror movies, the most expensive single song produced ever at the time was the Beach Boys, because
you're
in
thinking of Good Vibrations? Yeah. The theremin.
They used that instrument.
Yeah, it's called the theremin.
The theremin,
Yeah,
right? Yes, the
theremin.
theremin.
Yeah.
They use that instrument, and it's done by just measuring the electrical field as you pass your hand through it, and it changes the sounds. So this is a mechanical version of that, I guess.
Okay.
So if you
Wait, you guys want to hear what this thing sounds like?
yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to screw Amnon up. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
right,
I mean,
You guys
not
ready?
gonna.
Yeah, ready, ready.
You want me to show it?
Yeah. Well, can you hear it?
Yeah.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, but this
No.
is a different version. This looks like well
That's all.
crafted one.
Hey, I bet the other one looks well crafted too.
You see the welding dots. It's
And
a
on
nice
also,
project.
That's
Somebody's putting a lot
crazy.
of effort, but
I'm
it's
I'm wondering how long it's gonna, how many songs you can play with it, because after a while he's gonna end up sewing them all.
no, that wasn't a saw. That was a violin bow.
Yeah.
Imagine, like I live in an apartment. Imagine getting one of these and just sitting here late at night, just playing it, playing it in the apartment.
Poor people next door.
Be like, oh Jesus Christ, I'm gonna get check text Chainsaw Massacre.
It'd be like the apartment and office space, where the guy is the walls are so thin. Oh
I
man.
could stand outside and play it in the parking lot.
All right. Now this is for people who have really good hand-eye coordination. This is the Archie McPhee Handy Squirrel. It's a
That is
squirrel
too.
puppet that fits on all 5 fingers. So think about that. You got to do your index finger is one hand, your ring finger is another hand, and your thumb and pinky are the legs, and your middle finger is the head. Your hand will climb trees and forage for nuts.
Come on, you buy this with the instrument, and your kid is going to be terrified for years.
Yep, and CPS would be knocking at your door instantly.
Wow.
Oh
Oh,
man.
speaking of weird instruments, my son actually has an instrument called a berimbau, which we found. He was into percussion when he was in high school and college, and he wanted this thing, and we found it. And it's played with a bow. It's kind of like taking a primitive bow, like to shoot an arrow with, and playing it with a string. But it was I think it's Indonesian or something like that. But it would make some really unusual noises.
Hmm.
He still has it somewhere, but it's called a berimbau. Took me a while to find it. Okay, some
All
more
right.
books. Some more books, things to keep you busy. Basic welding for farm and ranch. Actually, this would probably be pretty useful. But the guy, he's using a acetylene torch there. I'm limited to a flux welder. That's the most I have. I don't have anything fancier than that.
Oh, berimbau. Okay,
You
I know
find
what
it?
I know
Yeah.
what that is. They use
Yeah.
it in capoeira music, in Brazilian music.
Yeah. Oh, Brazil. That's what it was. I knew
Yeah.
it was something.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure where it was from. I had to order it from, at the time, the only place I could find it was on eBay. The complete guide to classic barn building. I've been wanting to build a barn. I don't know if my homeowners association will like it, but I'd love to build a barn in the back. Okay, so the handbook of homemade contrivances, how to make them, 1,001 labor-saving devices for farm, garden, dairy, and workshop. That looks pretty cool. Some of the stuff looks pretty old. And then finally, how to draw cool stuff, a drawing guide for teachers and students. That actually sounds like it could be useful. Yeah, interesting. But fun. Okay, who wouldn't like a full-size cutout of Danny DeVito?
Oh, that's great.
I'm buying
Wouldn't
this.
that be fun? You just set him out in front of the house, right? I should order this and then have a sign, something about, Danny DeVito says hunker down or something like that.
God, that's expensive for a freaking piece of
I
cardboard.
know.
Yeah.
So
he gets a royalty.
I have a story of something like this. The company, one of the guys in his previous company, he was a sales guy, and the sales team, they got us from a yearly party something. They made them life-size cardboard images of them dressed in like the Matrix long uh, leather coats, they had some theme going on, and they produced that for the entire team. So and he brought it from his previous job, and it was sitting in his office for the longest time. And he would work a lot from home, and so the team that I was part of, we would just take that cardboard image and just position it in the office in different places and wait for the screams. Because you enter an office and somebody's standing there, it's dark, and somebody's standing there with that thing, and suddenly you flick on the light and somebody's in front of you.
With the
So this
trench
is
coat, yeah.
yeah, with the trench coat. So it became like this known shtick, and people, it started to annoying people, and so we started just hanging him out of the ceiling, the acoustic ceiling. We would prop it. So yeah, I can see doing that with Danny DeVito being much more effective.
For years, I had in my attic a full size cutout of Worf from Star Trek Next Generation
Oh,
that was standing up. Eventually, one of my kids came and got it, but it was in my attic for probably 15 years, just standing there in the corner. It was kind of creepy when you went
yeah.
up there.
So every time you entered the attic, you had Worf
Yeah,
looking at you.
it
Yeah.
was fun. Okay, so who doesn't want the gift of nothing? It's just a package with nothing in it. And it's only $11 and free shipping. It's not Prime. So
That's like
it's actually got pretty decent ratings, for average 4-star ratings. People
Yeah,
really
that's-
enjoyed getting nothing.
this is just like the box of instant water.
Yeah, or
Just
well,
add water.
Pet Rock was actually something. So instant water just add hot coffee.
Just add water.
Oh, a round to it. Yes, I like that, Alan. Yeah, I remember that. I remember the first time I saw that. I was at a youth group meeting at the church, and the guy held it up. Everybody has always wanted one of these, and he held it up, and nobody could figure it out. And, oh, it's so amazing. Okay, so I am not, and this is for you.
What the-
It's a giant nose soap dispenser for the show.
What the hell?
Yeah. That's the way to know you are in a bachelor's apartment.
That's it. I wonder if it's got something on both sides. I didn't really get into this. Is not Amazon now. These last few things, it's just things I found. But I, wo- I wonder if you press one side, it gives you shampoo, and on the other side, it gives you conditioner. So that would be fun. I love it how it's green, just dripping out of the nose. It's great. Who wouldn't want to have a set of emergency underpants, one pair, right? Right? Archie McPhee, emergency underpants, one pair, fits most adults, always ready to use. This sounds like something that would come out of the civil defense kit that you got that they stored in the high school and the bomb shelters during the Cold War. Emergency underpants. And finally, glow in the dark toilet paper. I mean, think about it. Well, the question is, does the glow in the dark rub off?
That's exactly what I was
Yeah,
just going to ask.
exactly.
Then your butt is a glow in the dark butt.
Oh my God, is that Uranus
I
glowing?
wonder-
I can't tell.
That's it.
Guess
I
who
wonder-
just came out of the bathroom?
I wonder if this isn't just a joke that you put out that people aren't supposed to use. Because I wonder, what makes it glow, and is it
Uranium.
potentially- well, I hope not.
That
Or
or at the
radium,
beginning of the
radium,
list.
Yeah. Well,
Great.
I hope.
How
you had
much
some
is
fun
it?
there. I just found these online. I didn't do it. This is not at Amazon. So
Oh,
these were just some things I did some searches afterwards.
all right.
I mean, I like the Amazon stuff because it's real, and you could just go on Amazon, just like Walmart sells caskets. You could, and all kinds of weird stuff. You could go and you
God
could
bless
pick-
America.
Yeah, I mean, Walmart. You can have it. I wonder if you can order it for store pickup. That'd
Yeah,
be something.
Lugging it out through the grocery store exit.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to see them store it on the shelf.
Bushel
In
of
that
bananas and
special
and a
room.
casket.
Yeah, wow. It's a strange world.
It's a very strange word.
All right. Well, that's it for specials for April 5th, 2020.
Well, thank you, Spience.
We made it through our first week of
So I
tomorrow
found it in
lockdown.
Amazon. It used to be sold on Amazon. When it was sold there, it was around between 11 and 13 bucks for a roll.
Damn.
Doesn't glow and is much, much smaller than a typical roll of toilet paper. That's a
Oh.
1-star review.
Fantastic.
Wow. So it's
All
my,
right.
yeah, that's another one of these things where you just don't know what the size. I love the pictures of that people put up of things they've ordered on Amazon, a dress or something like that, and the woman puts it on, and it's like, even though it's their size, it's just isn't anything close to what the picture looks like. No.
All right.
All righty then.
Thanks, Spence.
You're welcome.
Let's see. What else? Comcast said that internet traffic has risen 32% because of the coronavirus. But the company said it has the capacity to handle peak traffic demands in the US. Nice. They do have it.
About time.
Did you see the comment that? Wait a minute. Am I muted? Hang
No,
on.
you're fine.
Oh, because I had a. It showed up on the screen. You are muted. I wasn't. That's weird. But did you see the comment uh, about how? Oh, was somebody? I forget what news agency picked it up. But they said the internet in the United States is working pretty good, but they're having issues in Europe and other countries with capacity. And the comment at the end was the guy said, "Can anybody say net neutrality?
Yep, absolutely.
Why we have such good internet? Because it's not overregulated by the government."
Yep.
Thank God.
Well, I
Oh.
mean, so I'm glad that the internet is stable in the United States, but it should be. The amount of money that these damn service providers charge.
Oh yeah.
I mean, luckily for them, it works, because if it didn't, people would be pissed. I mean, my internet bill is like $75 a month. That's a little crazy.
Mine was flaky earlier this week. I'd have days when DNS was very slow, and I'd have days when
They adjust.
my total throughput was maybe down. I could download at 4 to 5 meg. I'd reset the modem. I'd reset my router, and same thing. It would come and go on its own during the day. It would go suddenly. I'd be back to 200, and then it would be down to 5. So maybe they were working in the neighborhood. I'm not sure. I actually saw them pulling fiber pretty close to my house out on the main road. So I'm hoping it means something.
You hope.
I hope.
Yeah. Okay, now this I really this is a little bit weird, and I don't know how something like this even happened. A hacker has hijacked all of Microsoft's official YouTube accounts, and this is from last week, and is broadcasting a cryptocurrency Ponzi scam to all of the company's subscribers. Came from ZDNet. The hijacked account are still streaming at the time of writing. This was Monday, despite being reported to YouTube moderators for more than an hour. They are also asking for viewers to participate in a classic crypto giveaway, where victims are tricked to send a small sum of cryptocurrency to double their earnings, but never get any funds in return. Put that aside. How does somebody hacks and hijacks all of the accounts? Now, when they say all of Microsoft official YouTube accounts, I'm figuring there's a few of them.
It's because you can have multiple channels under one login, and I'm sure Microsoft's got a master login for YouTube, and then all the channels are subbed
okay.
under that.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Like,
Okay.
I've got 2 YouTube channels under the same Google login.
Okay. But that's very interesting.
So what ended up happening?
And there was no update.
Hmm.
But very interesting. You made
Well,
me think
there's
there.
an article update at 10 p.m. Eastern. When was this?
This was
It's
Monday.
March 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a 10 p.m. update. Statements from Microsoft vehemently denying any hack of its account, and YouTube confirming that the hijack didn't impact verified Microsoft account. So that means nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
That means that they probably stole their RTMP information.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually, yeah, if you're streaming, all you need is the RTMP information. You don't need access to the
That's
account
true.
to stream.
Yeah, the key. All right.
That's weird.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Gene.
This is Gene.
Yeah. Turn down
Anybody
your
hear me?
turn the computer down.
Computer is down. It's
No.
mute.
We can hear you good.
Okay. I told you I'd call in on this one.
Yeah.
I had a very interesting. Windows update. Maybe Spence can figure this one out, or Gal. I did an update. I did an update. I guess it was iTunes and iCloud update. And after that update, it wants you to restart your computer. So I restarted the computer, and I noticed the restart was kind of funny. It was taking longer than usual. And what was spinning, it was saying preparing Windows. And it was spinning and spinning and saying preparing Windows, preparing Windows. And then it opened up. And when it opened up in without any of my applications on it, just like I took the computer out of the box. All right, my clicker, because I'm left-handed, so I use a different right click, left click. I always change it. My clicker was back to original, and all my applications were gone. And all. I was not too worried about it at that point because I got carbonite. I probably could have restored everything, but I thought, what is this? So I started looking at what operating system I'm running, and I did some searching in Internet Explorer, and not Internet Explorer, but Explorer, and I found out that I was basically up in a thing called Windows Temp, TEMP. Anybody ever see that before?
Well, it sounds like you loaded a new profile. So it was a raw profile that hadn't been set up yet. But the fact that it was Windows
Yes.
Temp.
This has happened to me before a couple of times. After an update, the computer is unable to load your actual profile, so it logs you into a fresh profile called Windows Temp. And typically a reboot of the computer fixes that.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. So if something happens where it can't load your default profile, so it spins up a temporary, it just starts a new profile because it has to boot into something. I've had that happen a couple of times.
That probably has to do with Windows. Is your account local or is your account a live, what they call a live account? Windows Live, Microsoft
I'm
Live.
I'm not sure I know the difference.
When you set up your machine, you have the option of doing a local account, which does not require a Microsoft ID, or a online account, which does. So if you put a PIN number in when you log in, or a password in, or you use a thumbprint to authenticate or whatever, typically, I'm not saying it doesn't have to be a local account or not a local, but you would know if you're logging into your, how does the machine just come up and automatically log you in? You don't have any password?
No, I have to put in my Microsoft account password.
That's
You
it.
do? Okay, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Then that's not a local account.
And I'm
They
guessing
really
it has to do with
discourage that. It might not have been able to find it for some reason, and then went into the
Well,
temp
so it
profile.
happens, but what happens to that profile after you reboot?
Nothing. It's a temp profile. It doesn't exist.
So it goes
It's not a
away.
real
Okay.
profile.
So
Yeah, it's like,
don't
it's
worry
like
about
stored
it,
in
Gene.
memory.
Yeah, Gene, don't worry about it.
No, it's just like that. That was kind of odd. I mean,
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
I had that
No,
happen to me
that
once too.
happened, right?
You load it up and you're like, where the hell's all my stuff?
Right. Okay, I just thought I'd throw that out. That was my fun for the week.
Yeah.
No, thanks for sharing.
It'll
That's the,
it's you get a good pit in your stomach when you turn your computer on and
Yeah.
it says, "Oh, welcome to Windows," and Edge is your default browser, and you're like,
no,
"Oh,
it was Microsoft's effort to keep people healthy by raising their blood pressure every once in a while. To give you, if you're sedentary and you're sitting at home a lot, you need to get some excitement and walking up and down the stairs. If you don't do that, this is the way they can get you to exercise.
You got it. You got that right.
Bill Gates has all the
Okay.
answers. He wants us to go into lockdown for 3 months
Yep.
to fix everything.
Oh, I already told you the funny Bill Gates story, didn't I?
Oh, your experience with him?
Oh, didn't I tell you the one
I
about
think you
Bill
did. I
Gates?
don't remember the details of it, but I think I remember you
You,
saying.
the IBM vice president wanted me to send him a new PC every time a new one came out. Remember me
No.
telling you
Oh
about
yeah, when you were taking it, yeah.
that? And then his assistant called me up and told me to stop because he was throwing them in the corner and were filling up the room.
All right, Gene.
Gene, I got
All
into
right.
the ThinkPad acceptance lab in Kirkland once,
Did you?
where they would take all the new machines coming out from IBM, desktops and laptops, and run tests. And they had a connection between the IBM lab and Microsoft. So I was in the IBM lab. I was actually installing some network gear there, but they had a high-speed connection over to Microsoft, and they would run early uh, versions of OS to test drivers and all that with the releases. It was kind of fun. So
Yeah.
probably when you
Yeah.
were still around.
Talking about ThinkPads, I was going through a bunch of old stuff and I found some of those old ThinkPads. I mean, the real ThinkPads, the little pad that said ThinkPad on it, IBM.
Yeah, the butterfly.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'll
Take
talk
care,
to you
Gene.
later.
Thanks for calling, Gene.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye. 919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. And talking about upgrading to 10. Guess who took the plunge on their personal computer this week? Nick just kept on pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. So I said one morning, I said, okay, I'm going to do it.
Clean or upgrade?
No, upgrade. No, there's no way. He wanted me to do clean. I said, no. I mean, there's too many things there. Old.
yeah, there's no way, Spence. Did you know it's impossible to do
Yeah.
a clean install of Windows 10?
Not for
That's
me.
actually
No.
It's
impossible.
really hard.
it's
You
impossible.
need to hire somebody.
I know. I mean, he's
Anyway,
got QuickBooks and an SSH program and email and
I did an in-place upgrade and it went very nice. And what was there was one thing, something about one of the printers, the one that's network connected.
Oh yeah, printers between upgrades don't work. I mean, that's just
Well, the other one worked. It was the Ethernet one.
Yeah, plugged in directly. It's a different story.
My last upgrade experience, I talked about it, was very bad because the first time it came up, the print spooler wouldn't run. Couldn't install a printer. Second time it came up, it sort of worked. And finally, the third time I reinstalled it and did an upgrade again, it finally got it to work. It's still flaky, but there's so much stuff on this machine that I couldn't install at the time, like 10 versions of QuickBooks, 10 different year versions of QuickBooks. It has to wait.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I did it. Actually, I'm very glad I did it. I don't need to worry about it anymore. But all the old programs that were installed on XP and after when I went to Windows 7, I had to move them to their own folder. Luckily these programs are not like regular Windows programs. They all operate within their own folder. So moving them to to another folder outside of the program files and using it. Like everything is working so far.
Amnon,
So far.
that reminds me of something. Talk about old programs. Remember BitPim?
Yeah.
Well, I may need to dust off BitPim. Larry called me, had a problem.
Well,
Larry, if you're
BitPim.
on,
Let's tell people first of all what BitPim is.
BitPim was somebody developed a program for old cell phones back in the day that would use. Remember, it started out with a serial cable originally, right? Wasn't it?
A
I
what?
don't remember.
Was it? Well, you use the vendors. I guess it was a USB cable. Had to be USB. But it was a program that would communicate with the cell phone and let you do things like remove or add pictures, change ringtones, things that were not available from the manufacturer of the
Right.
cell phone without a cost, right? LG, and I had LG phones and I used it for that.
It was a program to connect to a cell phone and manipulate it. That's what
Manipulate,
BitPim.
yeah, and
So
it was not supported by the manufacturers.
Right.
You could go in and change something and basically brick your phone if you weren't careful. But Larry got a new phone and ran into an issue with he was able to copy his contacts onto the SIM card. And apparently the new manufacturer also supports that feature. It's a specific phone that he needed to get. And but the problem is the size of the SIM card. There's the standard size, micro, and nano size SIM cards. So they weren't the same size. I hope the new one is actually the larger size because you can't make an adapter to make it smaller. So you can make an adapter to make it bigger. So we're wondering now if we're going to be able to actually copy over.
if you'll go over to the provider, they'll give him
We
the
already
right
talked
size.
to them and they don't want to touch it.
They don't want to
They're
touch
not-
what?
They don't want to touch. They don't want to do it.
To give him a SIM that will fit in it?
No, they'll give him a SIM. No, but they won't help him transfer.
No,
the
I
contacts
understand.
over.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
the SIM is,
Well, and that was the solution. I called the provider and confirmed that they have adapters. But
Yeah.
what I don't know, and I don't remember from Larry did tell me, and I can't remember what it was. If the old one was the nano and the new one is a micro, we're great because you can put the nano into a micro adapter. But if the old one was a micro and the new one is a nano, there's
Are
nothing
these
you can do.
smartphones, Spence?
No,
I have
no.
adapters.
They're not a smartphone. Well, I shouldn't say that. The new phone is, I don't remember whether it's considered a smartphone or not. It's specifically made by a company. Yeah, so they're the little holders. Yeah,
So I have two. See,
yeah.
you
So
can you can even go to between nano and micro. Not a problem.
Yeah, but you can't go from a bit if the SIM card slot is too big, you can't put an adapter on it to make it smaller. So you can't go from a you
No,
can't go.
you take a nano one, right? And
you
you
put it into the adapter.
Yes.
into adapter,
No,
and
Now
you
go
make
the
it
other.
bigger.
Now go the other way.
There
That's-
isn't smaller than a nano. Nano is the
No,
smallest.
but if you have a micro and you need to go to a nano, you can't. That's what Spence is saying.
No,
That's
you
what I'm
cut
saying.
it out. You cut it out.
what do you mean
You cut it to a nano size.
Oh, is there enough access that you can cut it?
It's the same. The chip is the same size. The chip is
Oh.
always the same size. The only difference is the plastic.
Oh,
So
interesting.
what I don't know is the from phone, what size that is. If it's already a nano, it's fine because I can put it into a micro adapter. But if it's a micro, how do I take it? If it's not the kind that I'd have to physically cut the plastic away.
Yeah. So first of all, you can go to the cell provider. They should have it. It looks like a stapler, and it just cuts around the chip.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or you can order something on Amazon, depending on how much you
okay.
want to
Well,
spend on it.
that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, you can put a smaller
But
one on
just
it, and
take a nano SIM, right? Put it in an adapter, put it in the phone, copy everything to the SIM, and then you have a nano SIM that you can move to the new phone.
Well, the
Doesn't
question
need to be
was
the original SIM.
the question was the which side was nano and which side was micro. So I don't know that.
Well, from
So
what I hear from Gal right now is very simple. There's no difference between nano and micro.
Oh, I know the SIMs I know the chips are the same. It's just the form factor.
But
So
the,
get-
the
I
form,
understand that.
yeah, but the
I
form
understand that.
factor.
get any nano SIM, copy over the contacts to that SIM, and you can transfer it.
So, well, the issue was that the provider was not willing at the time to accommodate. So I set it up so that he can go into the provider and get the adapter, or if he needs a new SIM, get a new SIM, because the new phone he got doesn't come with a SIM card. So
Okay.
yeah,
You mean
so
it did not come with one, or it doesn't use one?
it doesn't come with one
Okay.
because
Well,
phones
it is
don't come with SIM
it's a
cards.
universal phone. It's
Yeah,
sold
yeah.
as a
Okay.
separate.
So do this. Take a SIM card, right? Nano, whatever. Take a SIM card that can fit to any smartphone, right? Put it inside the old phone, copy all the contacts to the SIM, and then use that SIM on another smartphone, copy it to a Google account or an Apple account or whatever, and then sync the new smartphone to that.
Well, what we don't know is that the features on the phone are very specific. That might be Larry calling. The details on the new phone, I
Let's
have
see.
the manufacturer.
I see.
Hey, Larry?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Larry.
Yes, sir.
So your ears are burning?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. Where was the old phone I have had the nano SIM, the smaller one.
Okay.
The new
good.
phone
All right,
uses
so
a
that's easy
micro
then.
SIM.
Oh, so
Oh, that's easy.
Right. Okay.
no cutting.
No cutting.
Oh, I want to cut it though. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, get your
I
belt
know it.
sander out.
That's
Spencer,
why
I
I
was
figured
gonna- I
I better
have
call
my
in
new-
because you're getting too anxious to start cutting.
I got my new DeWalt 12-inch compound miter saw. I want to try it.
Spence, I have some
Right,
Sims.
right.
I have some old Sims I'll give you so you can
All right,
practice.
so maybe we can do it. Yeah.
Anyway,
You're like
Yo-
a surgeon. Let's cut him.
That's it.
There
The
you
only-
go. Yeah.
I have a pain in
Yeah,
my
I
head.
just
What's the
gotta get.
solution? Cut.
I just need the adapter, and but since y'all have some spare adapters around there, I can get one.
So, Larry, what kind of
Uh-oh.
phone did you get or order?
What kind of phone?
Yeah, what's the new phone? What's the name of the new phone you got?
It's a blind shell classic. It's a totally talking phone. Everything on it talks.
Huh.
Everything.
Oh, that's interesting.
It can be very inappropriate at times, was what it says.
Oh, classic.
You have to turn on the smart ass feature and and when you ask it what time it is, it tells you like,
Oh, it's got an FM radio built into it.
Yep.
it's a nice
That's
phone.
pretty
Yep.
Oh, it's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Oh, this is cool.
I'm sorry. Do
There
what
you
now?
go. It's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so you can hook up a headset to it. That's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah,
It's
it
got,
does about
it's got a
everything.
microwave built in also. You drop it in your cold coffee and it warms it up.
There you go. Yep.
Good.
But anyway, I was just going to make
right.
sure you knew that the Nano was the old one
Okay.
and it goes to the micro SIM. But
Do you have any
just-
plans to get over there to get the adapter, or what do you want to do?
well, we're not
Well,
traveling
we'll talk
right
about
now.
it. We'll talk.
yeah,
about
you
it.
So,
talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care, Larry. Stay safe.
So interesting. So this phone is made by a company called Blind Shell, and it's just I assume it's running Android because that's what these phones do, and it's got a complete voice control and voice dictation of
That's
emails,
what it needs.
notes. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's in the form factor of like a Nokia phone, like an older Nokia phone. So it's there's no sliding parts on it. It's got a relatively large screen. It's an interesting device.
Yeah, the screen wouldn't do him any good. I wonder why they even put a screen on it.
Well, because I mean,
somebody has to configure
I guess
it.
somebody else can do stuff. Yeah.
it's just it's. I tell you what, that is the one cool thing. Well, not the one cool thing. That is one of the cool things of Android is that you've got a lot of phones like this that are very specific ease of use phones. And because Android is open source, these phones can be relatively inexpensive. And they're completely customizable by the carrier. They don't have to build their own OS. They just slap some Android on it and then add their additional features like talking.
What threw us for a loop in the beginning was that the documentation for the phone says you can import your contacts using a VCF file.
Okay.
So didn't say anything about using the SIM card. So I called AT&T, and AT&T says, "Well, we don't do that anymore. We don't transfer contacts with SIM cards anymore." And it's like, well, you mean it doesn't work anymore, or you just don't want to do it anymore? And basically, it's that they don't want to do it. They don't want to be.
They don't want to do
responsible
it.
for
That's right.
messing
That's
it up.
exactly it. None of them.
So, as it turns out, it does work. And then so the only obstacle we had was to try to find the adapter. So he's already copied the contacts over to the old SIM card.
Yeah, this is cool. And there's I have to get the name of it. There's a couple of OTG off the grid Android phones that are starting to pop up now. That are this kind of this similar form factor as well. They've stripped out all of the things on Android that are constantly phoning home, and it's a very it's supposed to be a very stripped down version so that you can pretty much use the internet, text and stuff, but it's not always sending data back to Google or Facebook or whoever it is.
All
Very
right.
interesting.
Well, it's that time of day again.
That's it?
If you have something else,
No?
bring it up. All right. Going once? Nobody has anything.
Negative.
Well, thanks. Thanks, Spence. Thanks, Gal. Thank you, Nick. Thanks for the callers, all the listeners. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Dina, thanks for tuning into Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Upgrade your virus scanner, back up your hard drive. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at Computers 2K Now. And tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, Nick is hosting Against the Norm on atnshow.com. And if you're in, you can also listen to it on TuneIn. If you look for 106.7, The Big Talker. And if you're in Wilmington, it's 106.7 FM. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.